Originally a series of unformed tracks linked pastoral holdings in this area of Western Australia. The route was developed as a gravel road in the 1950s to aid the beef industry. Improvements took place in the 1960s which tied in with the development of the Ord irrigation scheme. The highway now serves pastoral, mining and tourism industries as well as the Ord irrigation scheme near Kununurra. A monument was erected on the beef road to commemorate the completion of the Victoria Highway. It was designated as a national highway in 1974 and was fully reconstructed and sealed to a good standard by the early 1990s. Roughly 5 kilometres from the main gate is the campground. You transverse another mining lease with strong reminders that you are not permitted to stop anywhere on this piece of road until you reach the gate. Today was an easy drive from one side of Lake Argyle to the other. Let me give you some background. Zebra Rock Mine was not on our original agenda, but some happy hour chats around the fire at both Mitchell Falls and Home Valley Station said you must stop at this place. We are so pleased we did, as it was to become one of the highlights of our trip. Max tried to convince us to stay an extra day so we could do a fishing charter and chase the silver cobbler, but unfortunately time was not our friend on this occasion, but a bloody good excuse to return. We did do the Sunset Safari tour, and that was nothing short of spectacular. Whilst the western side of the lake is about the dam, these guys showcase the wetlands of Lake Argyle in an amazing manner. Jabiru, sea eagles, any amount of freshwater crocodiles to be seen, and hundreds of different species of water birds. We cruised around the lake, had a swim and generally enjoyed the company of like-minded travellers, listening to some amazing background music that embraced the serenity of the mood. All this accompanied with a cheese platter and a cold beverage.
Secondhand, I felt a bit forgotten. Not your plan, but now the days of silence outgrow the fun things we have done. But tell me, do you wanna carry on? Plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. We could go till we're older. Put your head on my shoulder and let's enjoy the ride. When we started, our wishes aligned. We were like yin and yang combined. Now the tables have turned. Can we live and unlearn? You tell me. Plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. We could go till we're older. Put your head on my shoulder and let's enjoy the ride. Let's just live a life. Anything, anywhere, I don't really care, as long as I'm with you. Say something, don't be speechless. I'm sleepless, so alone in this stillness. Oh, I long for you, sweetness. Let's enjoy the ride. Let's just live a life. Let's just live a life. Oh, plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. Oh, and we could go till we're older.
You got one coming.
Today we were up bright and early and packed up as we wanted to do the mine tour before we left Zebra Rock. Then it was through to Katherine, which would take the best part of the day. 285 kilometres west of Katherine, we passed through the picturesque and very isolated town of Timber Creek. We will certainly note this one down as a place to stop if we ever get up this way again. They supposedly do a sensational sunset cruise with the sighting of buffaloes and crocodiles. Whilst not guaranteed, you're a good chance.
Look a little closer, it's been quite some time. You gotta let me know if I'm out of line. But there's some words that I just wanna hear you say, to put it all straight before this night turns into day. And then I'm on my
With a campsite in mind at the Limmen National Park, we waste no time leaving Katherine. First stop of the day is Bitter Springs.
a bit naive and so eager to please. You know I played for love, but it got me on my knees.
Now Bitter Springs is at the northern end of the Elsley National Park. This 13,850 hectare park was made famous by Jenny Gunn's popular novel, We of the Never Never. The 500 metre waterway is fed by an underground spring that gently flows down a watercourse lined with cabbage palms, and at around 30 degrees C, it's a hard place to leave.
For what you're telling
But we eventually did and started to make our way to Roper Bar. Then it was on to Butterfly Springs deep in the Limmen National Park.
I'm on my way. Yes, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
I'm knocking.
Yes, I'm on my way. Heavy road, go easy on me now, and my love will shine.
This would be pretty in the water, wouldn't it?
The Limmen National Park was announced in 2012. It is the third largest national park in the Northern Territory, Kakadu being the largest at nearly 20,000 square kilometres, then Judburra or Gregory National Park, this is 13,000, then comes Limmen with an area of just under 10,000 square kilometres. We had planned to spend one night here at Butterfly Springs and one at Lorella Springs. We'd been told by other travellers that due to the lack of rain, the water birds at Lorella had not come in from the coast. So we decided to do a day trip into the southern lost city instead and leave Lorella for another trip. So with this as a plan, we pulled the pork belly out of the freezer and we would have it in the camp oven later that night. Yum-mo! Join us as we stroll through the southern lost city. There are marked walking trails allowing you to explore the many geological formations of spirals and columns of stratified sandstone that call this place home. It would be a great place to spend the night and catch the sunset against the eerie columns. Maybe next time. Well, it's a bit of a transit day today, and a big one at that. The plan is to make it as far as we possibly can along the Savannah Way, which will totally be dependent on the condition of the road. Sometimes you come across these intrepid adventurers cycling various sections of the Savannah Way.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Well, this looks like a great spot for lunch. Yes, another big day, the penalty of having such a great time earlier on. According to all the information we had, Hellsgate Roadhouse was closed. We'd hoped to pull up somewhere around about here any rate, but new people had taken this on and they were super helpful, so we refuelled and booked in for the night. Croydon, or thereabouts, was the aim for today, but first I wanted to top up with fuel. We arrived into Burketown around morning tea time and was looking for somewhere to stop when we found the Burketown bore. The Burketown bore was drilled in 1897 to a depth of 723 metres and it still flows today. It's now uncapped and the rich mineral waters feed a wetlands on the southern outskirts of town. The water runs at approximately 68 degrees, which makes it too hot to touch straight out of the bore, but it soon cools as it makes its way into the wetlands area.
Down here a bit. See what someone else has driven.
The Savannah Way is a route of highways and major roads across the tropical savannas of northern Australia. It links Cairns in Queensland with Normanton, Borroloola, Katherine, Kununurra, Fitzroy Crossing, Derby and eventually ends up in Broome in Western Australia, with any number of offshoots along the way. The 3,700 kilometre route links 15 national parks and 5 World Heritage Areas. You can explore just a section or cross the continent enjoying its wide horizons, ancient gorges and abundant wildlife, connecting with Aboriginal and our pioneers' heritage along the way. This place would be awesome in the wet season, so remember that sections of this road can be closed for some time during the tropical wets experienced up here. Road conditions regularly vary from multi-lane to single-lane bitumen to gravel and dirt. At some sections you can even find unsealed creek crossings. Their condition will be dependent on how big the wet season has been and take months to recover. Croydon is located in the heart of the Gulf Savannah, 530 kilometres west of Cairns. First settled in the 1880s as a large pastoral lease until gold was discovered in 1885, and by 87 the town's population had reached 7,000 hopeful miners and their families. Gold remained the main economic producer in the area for 4 decades, until 1926 the final mining warden left as there were too few miners left in the field. Today the town and surrounding area have just 300 people that call Croydon home. A legacy of the gold mining days is the railway line built to transport the gold and people in and out of the area. Today, an historic train, the Golflander, runs weekly to Normington on a relaxing journey across this flat area known for its swamps and termites. But that's not us this time. We need to be on our way to the coast, so we'll park this. A train ride might be on our next trip. As we make our way back to Brisbane, what a remarkable trip. In fact, what an adventure it turned out to be. 12,700 kilometres, 49 days. We'd turn around and do it all again tomorrow. The issue in Alice Springs was character building to say the least, but not to be deterred, we modified the itinerary slightly to manage those 9 days, and we've still got to do all the things that were on our list. And what's more exciting is the story continues to be written.